Welcome everybody to my official last live stream. That's not necessarily a sprinting live stream, but welcome to a planning live stream with me. My name is Jenna O'Malley. I am your soul writer, author of sci-fi fantasy with dashes of romance and nerdy references. Alongside the raw stories my characters weave throughout time and space, I help other soul bards, such as yourselves, get back to doing what they love best in their creative modes by running these little workshops and other types of live streams outside of sprinting. Today, we're going to go ahead and focus on, since so many people were curious about like my production schedule and how it has changed and how I plan on planning for it with 2024 based on what I did this year. Spiral staircase mode applies, right? So I went ahead and put together this little get together. I hope to be here for maybe an hour today. Maybe an hour. We shall see how it goes. I am open to any questions. If you do have any while we're going along, please do go ahead and drop them in the chat box. So first and foremost, there are some, if you want like a workbooky printable version of the journal prompts, it's not really pretty. I just kind of did super basic just for note-taking sake. There is a PDF on this link, along with a copy of the slides, along with some bonus checklist style trackers that I made for myself and use anyway, like for my weekly chores. And two of my big goals for the year are to, or at least for this quarter, up front and foremost, are to get my morning routine and my evening routine back under control. So I went ahead and included a PDF with all of these for you as you would like to use. Feel welcome to do so. Consider them a thank you for coming to joining the stream. Angela's here first. It's good to see you. And Mel made it in. Good to see you. Miranda is indeed multitasking because unfortunately this overlaps with your live stream. So Miranda is also currently live streaming on their channel. So thank you so much for being here for sure. So I won't keep us too terribly long with the waiting. I won't keep us too terribly long. Just a little heads up, some announcements are going on over on the sidebar here. I do have some openings for coaching and editing. If you like a little bit of what I do during this live, please feel welcome to join me. Also feel welcome to like, comment, sub, share, and hashtag anime taught me is already uploaded and ready to go for Monday. If you're curious about what it is, that's literally the topic of the video. What is hashtag anime taught me? So check it out on Monday if you are so indeed interested. In the meantime, let's check out some of the things I plan to do in the coming year. Okay. So what I've been doing this past year is a little preview and a recap in 2023 was I was trying to get the rebrand, what I called the rebrand relaunch revolution, done to take my books from their old rendition that was a trilogy and take it to its correct rendition, which is a pentalogy. So what is involved in that? For me, I originally started wanting to just do Amazon KDP and wide. I eventually, before the end of Q1, had added on Kickstarter and had added on Ream Stories. So today we're going to do some backwards planning. I intend to end with my wide production date at the end of my map journey. So that needs to be the first destination I start looking at when I'm actually physically mapping it out, if you get what I mean. So I want to make sure I minimize my detours and things of that nature. And that's what this planning guide is kind of setting us up mindset-wise to do. Backwards planning has been around, good Lord, since the dawn of education. Because I know as a teacher, that's where I learned how to do it, was in college when I was taking my accreditation for teaching. So with backwards planning, the whole, like I said earlier, the journal, the workbook, the links in the live chat, it's all on the jennathesoulwriter.com/2024 planning link if you want to go ahead and join and work along with us. And like I said, backward planning, it is self-explanatory. On the other hand, let's keep in mind, these are not necessarily deadlines. I, in my Virgonian brain, because I am that type A person to a degree, call them deadlines. They indeed are not necessarily deadlines, they're more like guidelines. Be kind to yourself when life throws you curveballs, aka unmapped detours. um, Bad weather days, if you want to call them that, because life happens. But above all, flow state is crucial. Accepting that you're looking to get this maybe done Q1 of 2025. So what do you need to do all the way over here, getting ready to go into Q1 2024 to make that happen is the example we will be working back toward a little bit there. So keeping that in mind, we're going to do a couple of questions first that are more general about our social media. Many of us are authors or creative or content creators in some way, I should say. So I wanted to go ahead and have us check in with kind of the things we kind of do on the routine anyway, and pause with a little bit of a reflection there to see, are there days we cannot schedule launch dates for things, such as if you do these social media related questions and you have a religious requirement, Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays may not be good launch days for you. Maybe you have a convention, a writing retreat, another online live event, something big you're already doing. This allows you to chart around those with these kind of questions just a wee bit too. So you're kind of checking in with what future you already has on their plate and you're not overburdening them. With that being said, let's go with question number 1. Which days do I know for sure that I am doing live stream events? Some of us who host for certain communities already know this question months and months in advance. Some of us do not. So what I wanted to go ahead and do is give you a couple of minutes to go ahead and actually address this by looking at your calendar. Along with this question, I want you to also do the other 2 questions. So definitely you're going to want the PDF to join us because I'm going to be flipping between multiple screens with the timer here in a moment. So please do feel welcome to use the pinned link as you see fit to get those PDFs and things. So the second question I'll want you to address then is which platforms do I post my book social media to? Some of us also offer author or creator services. So is that different for you? Like for me, I tend to post way more about my services on certain platforms on certain days. Whereas on others, I counter that in different ways with, do you have that rotating schedule in mind between the two? Are you changing them? Have you made these decisions yet? Is it going to impact your future planning? If so, how? Would be a question to kind of consider, because I know this time of year is a really, really good fluctuation point for all of us, okay? And then which days do I post most about what? Might be a good follow-up question to that. For example, I tend to post a lot about author business stuff on Fridays and Saturdays because I tend to do hosting for my writing sprints. I know more people tend to be looking at my stuff who are authors, not readers, okay? So before I get us into our first little let's address a few writings timer, does anyone have any questions before we go in? I don't think so. I think these are kind of straightforward. But any clarifying questions you have, pop them in the chat. And yes, again, that if you want to get the journal prompts and things, pinned links where you're going to get them from. And I think what I'm going to go ahead and do then is switch us into a timer. When we come back, we will pick up with the first actual backward planning question. These are kind of bird's eye, eagle eye view of the situation. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Sorry for the cough. See you in 5. Alrighty, everybody. So I know that was kind of a really quick 5 minutes, and most of you are probably like me, and I'm just jotting down some ideas. That's kind of the point of this moment, just us to kind of get that sloppy, even if it is a sloppy bird's eye view, to answer some of these questions. For those of you who did join us alongside Carrie, you're not late. You're in wizard mode. You're here when you're meant to be. We did just take a gander at the first 3 questions. If you want to go ahead and grab a copy of the PDF with the questions or the slides I have on screen proper, you're welcome to go ahead and use the jennathesoulwriter.com/2024 planning link that's there. There's some extra bonus goodies in there for you too to use as you see fit. Hello, Rachel. It's good to have you here too, my friend. So I've already looked at a couple of items here, just again as an overview. Which days do I know for sure that I am doing live stream events? For me, this would include taking a gander at things like Double Down Day, writing retreat weekends, because I'm an admin host for Heart Breathing's writing community. If you do those routine kind of sprinting live streams, you might want to take a gander at the days of the week you tend to host. For me, also, I have notes here of things like wedding anniversaries that I can't. Because sometimes defining something is also including the definition of what you cannot or will not or don't do. So that's why I toss them under here. Note to me, add that as a separate question next time, right? And then the second time around here, I went ahead and actually wrote a list of my books, a list of my services, who gets what. And I'm going, yeah, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook do way more workhorsing than I realized. I need to organize what goes out and when a little bit better on what days. And that's kind of where I got lost on this third question, because I need an actual calendar to do that, not blank paper. But that's okay. So, any questions so far? Bingo. Yeah, this was the only issue that we here in AuthorTube are starting to run into. We're starting to overlap each other, whether we realize it or not. Just because there's so many epic, awesome people. I love the replay for that reason. Love the replay for that reason. So, the next section of questions we're going to go into that I have printed out here, we're going to kind of take one at a time. So if we're taking a little bit too much time, you're welcome to come and go as you please. Yeah, there's hundred. I want to quote Minnie Moon, Chibi Moon from Sailor Moon and say, there's a million of us, a little bit, but it kind of feels like it in the hundreds, doesn't it? So we're going to go ahead and address the next couple of questions here, one at a time. Again, we're backwards planning this. So, am I setting these books to price match? If so, when? I.e., this includes sales. Do you know you want to do something eventually that's a book blast? Is that going to be part of your launch day sale? So these are all kind of things going. If I were to pick the perfect launch day for wide placement, the very end of the tunnel, what info do I need to know to get price matching, to get sales set up, to get tours? What date do I need this all taken care of by? This is end of the tunnel where we're going. So let's go ahead and address that very question over the next 5 minutes. And yes, I do think it's going to take me that long to figure some of those dates out, because we're talking a year in advance here. Alrighty, everybody. These 5 minutes go by quick. I didn't want to let it linger longer than that, though, because it's going to make me pick a date and not overanalyze it. That's the method behind the madness there with the 5-minute timer, if you're feeling it a little bit. Rachel from Miranda, trying to fit. Yes, yes. And this is kind of what I started running into myself when oh goodness, probably almost a year and a half ago at this point, because that's about when I started hosting for Heart Breathings specifically. And because our schedule kind of runs concurrently with the everybody else, we had to kind of make that decision. And it's totally okay. I mean, Friday nights, there's sometimes 3 or 4 of us going at the same time, and we just stop by each other's channels and say, hi, how are ya? Like, often Sako Toomey is normally hosting on Friday nights, or QWERTY will host as well. We just stop by and say hi. It's okay. It's okay. And you know what? You do you. Your channel matters around your schedule first. Rachel, you're very, very welcome. You're very, very welcome. I don't mind helping at all any way I can. I figure I'm going through this myself. Why not share with everybody else? This is real. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. This is where my head was like 2 weeks ago, post moving in, when I was trying to sit down and do Sarah Cannon's HB90. And a lot of like the notes and stuff started coming out revolving around, and you guys started asking more questions about. So you're very welcome. If you are wondering, yes, this is in compliment to, because I love HB90 boot camp. I'd be lost without it. And yes, we got to get those frogs hopping along the streams to help whenever we can. We do the best we can. So back to some questions right quick. We just did number 4. We are about a third of the way through the questions already. Believe it or not, there's about 12, I think, when I counted, circa. So question number 5. What day do I want my wide release, and which wide avenues am I posting to? So this is going to be Google. This is going to be Apple, Kobo, libraries. Are you doing it through InstaSpark? That would be interesting if Instagram and Ingram Spark had a brainchild. Could you imagine? I think they call that Ream Stories, which is a better version of the two combined anyway, but we'll get to Ream eventually. So pick all your avenues, which way you're going. For some of us, this is spiral staircase mode. You are literally saying, remember what you did in blank time, or apply small note here of what you need to do. For others, I know some people are switching back and forth between the big 2 distributors, Draft to Digital versus Ingram Spark. Maybe this year you're adding direct sales through like PayHip or Stripe or your website or whatever, however you're doing it. This would be the place to start making those kind of notes in your standard order of operations and procedures to kind of figure out dates and things. Again, guidelines, not deadlines. So let's go ahead and do another 5 minutes. We're going to be quick on our toes. See you in 5. All right, everybody, how did it go for question 5 there? Hope it's going well for you. If you do have any other questions of your own, go ahead and drop them in chat. I just realized I may have enough on my plate clear through to Q1 of 2025. And the only reason why I say that is because it's, instead of 2 books for the Kickstarter, it's 6. Maybe 7. So I'm sitting here going, can I finish writing book 4, book 5, and the 2 side quests? I was gonna say, I feel it, Mom. I feel it. I just mommed myself. So yeah. I just put a big old honking note on here of move what you can to 2025. So this was good for me to sit down and do this. And you should definitely be aware of, if you take Sarah Cannon's HB90, you know what's going through my head. There's literally not enough task blocks available in the day for me to do what I need to do. Not enough hours. It's not enough task blocks. Rachel, wide releases are not too difficult if you go through a distributor. Right. See, for me, the issue is timing. That's all it's amounting to, is just timing, because at this moment I have a day job. So unfortunately, I can't do this all day long. Full time is also coming into play, like I had hoped I would continue to be doing. So keeping that in mind, I might be pushing maybe half of the books. Like, just because I put out book 3, 4, and 5 wide, I don't have to put out the 2 side quests wide at the same time. You see what I mean? I kind of also have that note here of, past the Kickstarter, I can stagger the launch dates if I want. They don't have to stay in a group. Yeah. Mom, sis, don't. I love you both. They keep me in line, can't you tell? Rachel, yes. And this is kind of where my brain went, because I lost an entire quarter due to tech gremlins on the distributor's end this year. Was also kind of low key what was going through my head. They kept losing my tax info every time I would upload a book. That was nerve-wracking. So hopefully that's all sorted out, and I've allowed time for stuff like this. And then having to save up for illustrations or things of that nature is probably going to be what some of other of us consider. Those of us who write long form fiction are very, very, very fortunate that we don't need, an image a page. So for some of you who are children's authors, or maybe you do low lexile level chapter books where they still have that blend of words and pictures, it's going to eat up a lot. Yes. Don't hurt your schedule because of tech gremlins and misunderstandings. This is it. It's good to allow leeway for if you expect them. Like, one of the things I did was I gave myself another week for the wide launch that I didn't give myself this year, just in case. So lessons learned there. But next question, we're going to go and keep on sliding into number 6. This would, of course, put us about halfway through the questions. And we should, in theory, be somewhere around Q3 of 2024 in our brains is where I'm at, because I've already dialed the clock back from around Christmas when I want to start doing the wide launches. If I want to do a quarter in Amazon KDP or 30 days or whatever the time frame is, I need to make sure that I'm justifying my dates to allow for this, okay? Because we all know Amazon and their rules about being wide versus being KDP versus price matching. depending on what you're doing, it affects what days you can and cannot let stuff in and out of one system sometimes, okay? So let's go ahead and do another 5 minutes addressing what days are my books in Amazon KDP and not allowed to be anywhere else, just to give ourselves this block of time. So I don't think we'll need the full 5 minutes for it, but just in case, 5 minutes. Hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. So let me go ahead and highlight a couple of more questions here to make sure that I don't miss any of them. And actually, we need to go ahead back in. Whoa, that's not what I wanted you to do. I wanted you to go here. I'm sorry for the switchy and the whatnots, everybody. So we're looking at what days are my books in Amazon KDP and not allowed to be in wide for question number 6. I'm going to go ahead and bop straight to question number 7. What day do I want my Amazon release out? That's probably going to coincide and clarify question number 6. So we're probably going to lump this one into the next 5-minute session, only because question number 6 might have naturally answered question number 7 for some of us. And with question number 8, pop, a lot of you are going to have a ton of questions. So I'm going to let that kind of linger there, and we'll build up to it while we look at your other questions in chat. Mel is launching their Ream Stories on your birthday. So that's January or February, right? Coming up. What I would suggest, if you are into doing Ream Stories, which I'm going to talk about here toward the end of the stream, because it's the thing I'll do most near to me in Q1. Ream Stories has exploded in popularity in all the right ways, in my opinion. If you are looking for help with it, and I know many people in this group are already familiar with these avenues, but I'll go ahead and share them for the sake of sharing them. Subscriptions for Authors runs a Facebook group and runs a YouTube group. So if I don't answer any of your questions about Ream because I don't know, we will go ahead and let them address them there too. Plus, Inka, who all of us know and adore, is an award-winning Ream Stories author. Check them out for some other questions and answers, and just generally to look at literally an award-winning one. I know Mel has, because they cheer on Inka all the time. Miranda, you're very, very, very grateful for you doing that. Thank you. And a lot of us are catching up on the planning next week, so I totally understand. Rachel, your schedule, don't hurt your schedule because of tech gremlins and misunderstandings. Trying not to. Your decision this year includes, do you do KU for the 90-day time frame for your loss leader or not? And if so, when? So for some of us, and I kind of got into this a little bit in chat, but I'll say it out loud so everyone can hear. For some of us, KDP doesn't work. I did KDP before the rebrand relaunch revolution, and I actually lost money on my books because of it. And I did KDP for 90 days after, and not a single person downloaded my books, even though I was advertising them, getting them in book blasts, doing book vaults or things like that. It didn't matter. No one was picking them up. The second I went wide, my sales are... I didn't want to admit this out loud this soon. I didn't want to jinx myself. I've sold over 1,000 copies of book 1. Either free selling, because it's a loss leader now, but I've moved over 1,000 units. That's the business wording I'm looking for, since I've gone wide. I didn't do that much with 3 books in KDP at all, and did way more paid advertising. So if you have a genre and a niche and a book that works in KDP, do what works for you. If KDP is not working for you, come try wide. Just give it a try. You can go in and out. It's not advised. It can be a pain in the butt. It's a little messy, but you can do it. Wide for the Win would be the group to follow on Facebook for that. At least that's who I'm following. As far as my advisement on that. So give it a try for a year or a quarter and go back into, might be advisable, with a lot of debate. I'll say that, because you don't want to lose progress if you're not going to gain progress. Mel, trying to decide on how often to post to Ream Stories. Any ideas? Twice a week, once a week. Rachel is considering using Ream to release the companion stories. This is kind of where the side quests are starting for me, hardcore. The stories of the romances and the friendships and the sideline. And that's kind of also what I think a lot of people are using it for. I'm kind of putting the cart before the horse with my answers and my questions here, but I started using Ream to hold all of my edited copies before I kick stuff to Kickstarter, just so I could have a place for people to give me feedback on continuity. So if you're looking for a continuity feedback on a longer series, it can be good for that. As far as consistency on posting, one, what does your schedule allow for? Because for me, I was trying to do 2 chapters a week and fell off the bandwagon because of the day job. And then went on to post the whole rest of it this past week over winter break. So know your schedule, know what you are able to do with the time and tasks blocks. If you do HB90, you are given, or that life gives you and you give yourself, I guess I should say. Once a week seems to be fairly often the consistency. Also, keep in mind, it's not just about what stories you post in the actual stories. It's about community tab interaction, which Inca is a prime example of how to do that and do it well, in my opinion. Let's see. Devin's back. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I hope the grocery run treated you well. Sorry, I was a little bit long-winded. Thursdays and Mondays actually make sense for you because you could work on it during your sprints and us keep you accountable, and you post it when you're done or the next day. That's what I was doing for a while. My mantra was Friday my first sprint, Saturday my first sprint. Get it out, get it done, and get it over with, because I was only editing at the time. So if you're only editing content, because I know you have your books already to come visit me because I'm your editor. But anyway, spoiler. But at the same time, what can you handle? Is that going to be good for you? Not allowed. I adore you, Mom. I adore you, Mom. January 21. Happy early birthday, my friend. Rachel, Kindle Vella. See, you're posting once per week. A lot of people I have heard who did Vella are trying Ream Stories. I'm not sure how similar the platforms are internally on the author end, but the user experience is fairly fun. So it's just another platform to build. If you already have Kindle Vella and it's working, is that going to translate to Ream Stories? Are they going to follow you there? Is it a loss? These are all questions some of us are going to be asking ourselves. Congratulations. Do you have a link by chance there, Carrie? Do you have a link by chance? I would love it. I would love it to shares it out for you. Yes. So you imagine Ream would be that at least for sure, and you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for the congratulations on book 1. This is the key. This is kind of what I'm alluding to. It is wide for the win, but it's going to take you 6 months to a year to get it all started and running. See, this is kind of where a bunch of us who went wide, we were having the same. And sustainability is going to be, this is very true with Kickstarter, to loop it all back around and get us back on track. This is very true with Kickstarter too. Genre. If your genre is huge in KU, I thought mine was, because I'm doing vampire romance novels that have some fighting and some, fighting between the sheets, if you know what I mean. But didn't do anything for me. So for you, are you doing children's books? Is wide what you need? Maybe, because kids aren't going to be on KU. Their parents are. You guys might not, or they might not be. As I say that, going, Jenna, there are some 5-year-olds who operate your tablet better than you. Anyway, Rachel, you're wide on everything so far and making, see, here's my honest fear. And I'm saying this because I know Kindle is owned Kindle Unlimited is owned by Amazon. So Amazon doesn't care how little we make. They just care that they're making the sale. Now, I can say that about all the other distributors too, but Amazon's kind of the one who's been doing this the longest. Therefore, they get the baddest rap for it because of the changes that they have gone over with the cuts they've made financially to the program over the last couple of years alone. So I'm just spouting out stuff I've read online. If you want to learn more about what Amazon does supply to that fund, it should be public domain knowledge. So Google worthy, Google worthy. Mel, you have everything already written. You're pulling your pen name. Ah, gotcha. So you're kind of doing a grounds up, rebuild your readership attempt. And that's not a bad idea either, especially if there are readers who are willing to be driven from platform to platform. Yeah. See, there's people on AuthorTube who make banging bucks with KU in the same genres because we kind of do loosely the same umbrella, but goodness is the different sections of the umbrella. Yes, we do, Mumu. And with this being the case, it's not a good fit even for everybody within the same genre. Once a week's a good choice. Accountability during sprints. Always, always, always. Mom, you're an editor? No, I don't want to get paid to read books for a living. Not at all, because that's basically what an editor is. All right, we're going to get into the Kickstarter question. And I should have planned this for an hour and a half, and that's okay. So, Kickstarter. Bring on your questions, my friends, because I'm sure you have several for those of you who are interested in doing one. What day do I want my Kickstarter to be filled and mailed to backers? If you notice, I have another question that's question number 9. What day do I end my Kickstarter? Which goes right in hand with what day do I start my Kickstarter? I lumped all 3 of these as separate questions back to back because there's going to need to be writing room involved here with them, okay? Kickstarters can last as long as you want them to last. Most people do anywhere from 2 weeks to 30 days. My first Kickstarter, I had plotted it out for 30 days and y'all were grateful enough to help me fill it in 24 hours. So a couple of things to keep in mind. A, are you bringing a lot of readers to the Kickstarter to buy it from you? I'm bringing more than I did last year. B, what is your end goal as far as financial funding total amount? So for me, I need to keep in mind, I might need that 30 days now more than I did last year, because last year I was only looking at $500. I'm shooting for 5,000 potentially this time is my high end. My low end, that's right, 60 days is the max. Thank you, Mom. I thought it was still 30. That's right, 60 is now the max. So I'm wondering, do I need 30 days if I want to get it to $1,000 a book because it's a 5-book release? Well, technically 7-book release, but keep in mind what you want to do. Also, are you including manufacturers? Because that's going to affect this date. If your manufacturer said they can get it to you in X time, when do you pay them by? Might become questions subsequent thereof. Okay. And yes. This is what I am going to be doing tomorrow with and I was going to mention that when we get to the Ream Stories. One of the things I'm going to be doing tomorrow, Monday, is looking at feasibility. How long is it going to take me to post everything? Because I still have 2 books to finish rewriting. Keep in mind that some genres are not as liked on some platforms for sure. I'm sorry you went through that, my friend. Worth the experience, though. I'm sure. Angela, also try to have a larger pre-launch period. Yes, this is the key. I did not give myself nearly enough time to plan this Kickstarter out. So I thought I was going to launch in Q1, early Q1, early reboot. Late Q1, early to Q2. It's going to be more like late Q2, early Q3, which is going to be about 2 months behind where I was last year, but I have, 3 times as many books to attend to. So keep that in mind. The size of the Kickstarter. You're very welcome. Your first book we published this February. I'm so excited. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Rachel, not be doing a Kickstarter. See, some people want to bring that audience too. And that's kind of a good idea. Some of us are using it as an audience builder. I will admit there are more people who like our umbrella of genre more so on Kickstarter now than there were a year ago when I was first doing mine. Yep. Tons of marketing. Yep. Tons and tons of marketing. One of the people in the Kickstarter for Authors group, do I have their Facebook group? I do not. Let me go fetch that link. I'm surprised I don't have that link in here. One of the people who runs the Kickstarter, Anthea, I believe it's pronounced. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. Has gone ahead and actually made a Kickstarter book and launched it on Kickstarter about Kickstarter for Authors recently. And I read it in connection with some of the older titles that we have mentioned, the class by Dean through WGH Publishing, the other books by Monica and team. They're all great. Anthea's is a complete complement too, and filled in a lot of gaps that I had questions about. So go ahead and check it out if you want more info there. I was going to say, having followers doesn't always help. Don't always need to pay for ads. I bought 1 or 2 ads with my Kickstarter. Mostly what did it was you guys. Word of mouth helps huge. If you don't have that book, it's worth it to get. So let's go ahead and we're going to lump together questions 8, 9, and 10. Since they're all Kickstarter-y questions, let's just go ahead and I'm going to take 5 minutes, jot down some notes on. If you want to join us again and you're just hopping in, the pinned link will have all the questions in the workbook you need. See you in a couple of minutes and we'll attend to more questions in chat. Thank goodness for the power of things overlapping for me. Goodness gracious. So, something I was able to kind of look ahead and realize was that my Kickstarter dates were going to line up perfectly now since I moved everything back about half a quarter and gave myself that little bit of grace. Everything is going to line up perfectly to where it can kind of be bam, 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 domino effect this summer, and maybe I can actually get some time out by the lake or the river this summer. Nice. So, how's it going for everybody? How's it going for everybody? We just finished the questions on the Kickstarter there. Your weak link is email chains and email marketing. You get more traffic for Devin to your blog than social media and would love to get more email subs. For me, it's this YouTube channel. And it's kind of, this is something I heard Aaron Dowdy of, Aaron Dowdy. If you know Aaron, you know whose channel I'm talking about. This is one thing that he focused on at an event I went to this past September was take 30, 60, 90, whatever number many days and focus on one platform to build. Focus on one platform to build it. I knew you would. I knew you do, my friend, because you were there with me. Focus on one platform at a time to build it. This past year, I really focused in different ways on building my YouTube channel. Has it benefited me? Yes, in many other ways. Has it hurt me? Yes, in many other ways. So for me, it's going to be realizing that I can't necessarily grow both side by side if I don't plan ahead for it to. So some of my content here on the YouTube that'll be focused on the books are, you're following me through this journey doing stuff like this. I'll also have character videos that'll come out as part of my Kickstarter lineup that is not going to be covered here specifically today because I need to look at very, very specific release dates on those. And there's like 20 videos I need to get out between now and when it launches. So that's another planning live stream for us, fortunately for all of you, to pick my brain. But there's many other ways I could have chosen to do that. Some of us who use Substack are using Substack as a newsletter. Some of us are using it as a blog. Some of us are using it akin to Ream Stories. So is it maybe if you're using MailerLite, is it giving you the kind of feedback you need for something like that? Then if you're concerned about building email marketing, which I hear strangely enough is still king in all types of marketing, which makes me go, really? With video being second. So combine the two together is what some people have done, like Sarah Cannon. Many of us get her newsletter through our email and it tacks on the video for the week, right? So if you can find a way in your system, kind of like how we're doing here with our publication avenues and schedules, picking out not just when, but what order to do it in, that would be a huge help. And this is why so many people love MailerLite, I am sure. Story Origin and other integrations with it, because MailerLite's one of the biggest out there on the market for. I would love it if I could get some integration with Substack on stuff like that. Be my luck they have it, and I'm just not aware of it because it's not the platform I focused on this past year. Integrations, if you know how to use them and can get the tech lemons to sprechen your language, helps. So speaking of sprechen our language, let's go ahead and look at the last two questions. This question is going to be answered quite differently and may even arrive in a different location in the process for you. Okay. So for me, I wanted the final edit, not worry about any more edits before it goes to Kickstarter. I don't mind my drafts being up on Ream Stories, but Morale, excuse you. She's like, it's been an hour, Mom. Sorry, it's okay. These two could possibly go out of order if you want the pretties up on Ream Stories. Some people use Ream Stories as their beta reads because of the comment adding function. Hint, 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 if you're not aware of that. I've had a couple of readers offer to do it that way. I prefer my feedback differently though, so maybe that could be up your alley. So let's go ahead and address these last 2 questions and we'll get into our last sprint. Now is going to also be the call for any final questions you have for picking my brain. And I'll get into talking more specifically based on, and we'll start wrapping up. So what day do I need to have everything for my ARC, my beta, my editor, whomever, versus what day do I post to Ream Stories? You're allowed to have question number 11 fall at any point along the questions you need. If you'd rather it after the Kickstarter, before the Kickstarter, whenever, it's up to you. Let's go ahead and get our time though. Last 5 minutes. See you the other side. Hello. I'm getting death glared over here. Hello, welcome on back, everyone. So how'd it go? How'd it do? I did realize that it's going to work out after all. Now that I did give myself that extra like 6 weeks of pushback into 2025 to finish everything up, it's all going to work out. And yeah, I literally asked Moo, is it seriously even really a live stream for Soul Bar Productions if you don't show up? She should be our mascot, not Sean Nanigans, right? Shh, don't tell Sean. Don't tell Sean. Anyway, all right, everybody. So thank you for hanging out with. I hope I was able to give you all some clarifications and a little bit of a help. Ooh, I don't know if it came through though, my friend. I don't know if it did came through. Let me go ahead and see if I can make it. Hold on. If you hear me talking to us, I apologize. Let me mute the tab. Maybe it won't come through. Because it probably, excuse you, you're standing on keys now, Miss Mill. Hold on. Yeah, no, it would not let me grab the link, my friend. It would not let me grab the link, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to get it. And, oh, that's why. Me. I can fix. But oh, wow. There you go, my friend. So if Carrie wouldn't mind resharing there, that'd be great. I do apologize. You're very, 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 very welcome. You're very, 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 very welcome. This is how I felt, but at least it's all on paper. Yeah, I forgot. I forgot to give the wrench. My brain kaputted. Thank you all. And you know what? What I have here is loose. Like literally, I have a list of January week 2. That's my launch schedule. It's all ishes and isms because they're guidelines. I know that's what I need. Sometimes deadlines, they have the word dead in it for a reason. You shouldn't feel that way at the end of it. Okay? Whereas guidelines, hopefully you're guided to feeling a little bit better about the project in general. Okay? Yes! There you go. January 4th, reamstories.com/Carrie H. Author. Dun-dun-dun. Go ahead and check it out. And ARCs for Devin go out on January 15th. Yes. I'm so proud of all of you. You continually kick butt. And you do it because you not only show up for others, but you show up for yourself. And the more you keep doing that, the maybe not easier this journey is going to get, but the journey is going to be more enjoyable for sure. Take care of yourself. We'll maybe do another one of these in January. See you around.